Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for the final game of the day, Direwolves versus Team One Esports. Now, despite being, you know, guys who have faced each other so many times, I've absolutely butchered this. Bottom line, these guys, rivals, historically, have gone toe-to-toe so frequently, and I think it's a rivalry that so many fans are excited to see play out now on the world's playing stage.
Yeah, it's kind of one that you wouldn't expect, where it's Brazil versus the OPL in Australia. You're just like, okay, wait,
they're not regionally linked.
Yeah, how are these linked in any way, shape, or form? But what's happened in the past is during wildcard tournaments, during play-ins, during basically anytime these teams play each other, the OPL, despite not going as far in like international tournaments as Brazil, the OPL upsets Brazil more often than not. The last 5 matches have been a 4-1 in favor of Oceania, with that one being Brazil in MSI.
Yeah, Brazil was able to get a win, but it was actually the OPL that held the final most important victory over them because it stopped Red Canids from being able to advance out of that group stage and mathematically eliminated them from moving on.
And which is big. Remember, MSI was in Brazil. The hometown crowd was absolutely silent during that victory for OC.
And in the past, it's kind of been a friendly rivalry, right? It's been the Chiefs and it's been INTZ. These guys are friends outside of the Rift, you know, rivals on the Rift. But now we look at it, Team One Esports representing, Direwolves representing, and Team One. There's really no room for mercy here if they want to prove themselves to their fans.
Yeah, I mean, that's the big thing is this was a team that, like we were saying, it was a little surprising to see them even make it to Worlds, given that how quickly they showed up and how they go through so many fan favorites. Many Brazilian fans were almost disappointed that this was the representative for them. So they have a big chip on their shoulder in terms of trying to show that, like, yes, we deserve to be here. We did beat those teams, and we're going to represent you better than they would.
And of course, the standing implications are huge as well. Cloud9 sitting at 2-0 in the group. Both of these guys at 0-1. Whoever wins here will temporarily hold the second seed. See if they can lock that down as well.
Well, even if you temporarily hold it, it gives you a very good chance of at least having a tiebreaker for it, or at least having an advantage coming into that next matchup that you'll be playing tomorrow.
Yeah, such few games to be played here, so every win you pick up is huge. So you're going to see both these teams probably go pretty all out for this. Pretty aggressive already out of both these teams, so you're going to see even more.
And I feel like from the performances they had against Cloud9, it's going to be really hard to tell how they will stack up. So much of these teams just collapsed in the early game. Now, if we see much more even footing, we're going to get to see so much more in terms of individual strategies.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing is both games that they played today were, oh God, Jensen is running us over. So, you know, like you're saying, not a great chance to show exactly what they're made of here.
Well, gentlemen, I hate to cut you off, but it looks like the casters are ready. So now it is time to get in our final game of the day. Take it away, Alice.
You love to cut us off.
I do.
Only me.
Thank you, Dracos. Frosk and I are here reporting for duty to cast the Direwolves versus Team One Esports. Find out who did better or worse against Cloud9, because both of these teams struggled a lot against the representative from North America. And we're wasting no time. We can't put Frosker on camera too often just because she detracts from the broadcast with how fantastic she looks, and we're straight into Champion Select. The Rek'Sai going to be banned away from Forlan, and the Rakan going to be getting rid of here on the side of Direwolves as well. And the Jace and Kalista going to be taken off the board by Team One Esports. The Jace ban is an interesting one, but of course something that Chippys may want to play. Phantiks as well has played that one in the past, and the Sejuani going to be the final ban for the Direwolves.
And again, I'm glad that you underlined the fact that it is a flex pick between Phantiks and Chippys. Chippys has been particularly successful on that Jace pick, so I actually really respect that coming out of One on the other side. And again, I always love me an Alistar ban.
I don't. I want to see more Alistar. And of course, Destiny has played that one in the past as well. And as sort of the shot caller and the leader for this team, getting him on a champion that can make plays like that is certainly important, and banning it away important as well. But these picks are coming through thick and fast. Jarvan going to be taken away first, of course, a flex between Shern and Chippys, something that Shern does want to play more so of, though. And the Jax theoretically flexing into the jungle, but most likely going over to Vert, and the Braum locked away for RedBert as well.
And that does mean that a pick like Xayah becomes that less valuable. If you're looking across from a Braum, you can disrupt a lot of the damage that she's going to output. So we'll see if King goes that direction, or if maybe he's going to stay a little bit safer and look for something like the Caitlyn again.
Well, once again, the Corki is going to be locked away here for Phantiks. Theoretically, King could play it, but it's definitely not going to happen.
I think it's pretty safely in Phantiks' hands.
Hey, look, I cast the LCK, and we did have a Corki AD carry. Did not go well. Rumble is going to be locked away, though, and that is both solo lanes already taken here for the Direwolves.
And that's the thing, all of the mystery and the allure is gone of Direwolves.
Yeah, we're almost holding on to the possibility of a Corki AD carry.
Oh no, wait, there's still time for mystery. They could flex the Rumble into the jungle,
but we still know that it's going to be Chuff and tough if that happens. Like, oh dear. Well, that is going to be the Xayah locked in. With Rakan banned away, it might not necessarily be as much of that dominating lane, but still fantastic choice and does have the Braum there to back it up as well, but the entire bottom lane is a mystery right now for the Direwolves.
And it means that it's open to firing squad for Team 1 to start picking away and sculpting the matchups they want. They have the Xayah, they have the Braum, so if that is a Jax jungle, if it's a jungle with less or more CC, he can work in tandem with that Braum, whatever it is that he wants to bring out of that. So I like the position that Team 1 have put themselves in. I think they could even sculpt it so that they get the best scaling carry. I would expect a Tristana ban here.
Yeah, you'd almost hope for one. I feel like the Kog'Maw is an interesting ban away from King, but it's not because it's not somewhere that he does like to go, especially historically, but a lot of time has gone by. Of course, the boot camp in South Korea as well, working out for the Direwolves. So possibility of a change in strategy, and might be even more research done by Team 1 to know something that we may not necessarily, as the Karma is going to be taken away from Destiny as well. So I like that one. He actually was able to create a massive impact on the bottom side of the map against C9. The Elise banned away from Forlan though, looking to target the jungle as far as early pressure is concerned.
So what will it be?
Yeah, Direwolves having a good think about this as we tick down to about 5 seconds to go. And the Kassadin going to be taken away from Bruiser.
Okay, so a bit of a smattering in multiple different directions. Phantiks, of course, probably going to take that Corki into the mid lane, so doesn't want to face the Kassadin, but they're still...
I like how you say probably. I've infected your brain. Ah, stunning.
I never really know what to expect with the Direwolves or with you standing next to me.
That's a good point. Like to keep you on your toes, Frosco. It's Absolut. It's going to lock away the Orianna for Bruiser. It's something that Murph actually plays quite well. Bruiser moving over to that one at the same time. As King, utility AD carries are certainly his way, and the Ashe would not be a surprise at all.
And I think it would work really well for their long-range initiation potential that they already have collected on this composition. Yes, Xayah has the ultimate where, she can jump up into the air, she can get herself out of sticky situations, but that's still the equalizer as well as the cataclysm as well as the arrow. Like, eventually one of these pieces of damage or CC is going to stick to the Xayah and just wreck her day. And then let's throw a Thresh on top of that.
And what I love about this is it plays to Direwolves' playstyle almost entirely. Early game power that they have, even with the switch over to the Morgana, I was almost completely trolled by a hover there, but it still works out because single target pick works so well if you're going to be roaming around in the early game trying to get yourself advantages and capitalizing on having better vision than your opponent. Things like this. But here's a bit of a throwback. Of course, Fiora getting some buffs on this patch. She can now run around a whole lot faster when she pops down that ultimate. And she's going to be picked up into the top side, and Forlan is going to be flexing that Jax into the jungle. So much damage coming out of both of these teams right now.
And we'll keep our eyes on how Jax decides to itemize. Usually you see more of a tanky Jax coming out of the jungle, but the hyper-scaling potential of Team 1's composition is pretty outrageous. Fiora and Jax, if these champions get going, they can just dominate side lanes, and there's really no options that Direwolves would have to face them in those lane assignments. Rumble's going to be great in the 5v5, but left onto his own devices, he's probably just going to get smashed by either Jax or Fiora.
Yeah, and if you look at Fiora and Jax, it feels like the Bash brothers, It's like you get both of these champions smashing onto a single target, then you have the grand challenge coming down, everyone's healed back up again, and you can snowball it from there, especially with the shockwave being available. Decent ball carriers on both sides with the lunge and the leap available for both of them. Could be a terrifying prospect. They do have, a tank in the Braum, but it might be something that Direwolves can capitalize on because they're not going to be super tanky in the earlier stage.
It's about the fact if Team 1 can split up the Direwolves, keep them from grouping together, looking for that 5v5, because you look at the Direwolves composition.
The double equalizer comp.
Exactly. That is so fit and center to fight around these big monster objectives, to look for these big team fights. Now, we particularly have to keep track of levels on Chippys, looking for the different points in his ultimates, because that's going to be the big go button for Direwolves.
I actually like this. A bit of a throwback to when we used to cast together all the time, because it was always check the level of the Rumble to see how much the equalizer is going to hurt when he teleports in for a dragon. That was always the way. You taught me how to do this. Like, I now know how to commentate because I know that you just need to look at the Rumble and which level he is in order to work out what to do.
He's level 11. I think they're going for it.
No, he's only level 1. There's only one there.
Man.
Have you got your glasses on?
No, but I am dyslexic.
Oh, okay. Well, Team 1 looking for the early invade. shernfire unable to take down that ward. As Destiny turns up, unseen here. It's a bit of a 5-point defense system. with Phantiks just hanging out there in the mid lane, understanding that Bruiser is probably just going to try and throw balls at him, which he does.
Just scouting out. Now the thing is that the damage kind of has been done, however, because they did place the vision onto the red buff. So if shernfire decides to commit to it, it will be giving full vision and information over to Team 1, and then it's a matter of what they do with that vision, knowing what shernfire's pathing is, or suspecting what it could be in. Maybe, you know, he gives them the information, then he tries to put a spin on it, or a twist to find some sort of opening and ganking his lanes, but looks like it's going to be a Raptor start and a red start for both junglers.
Yep, Forlan actually cheating here because that skin does have a real weapon. Not a huge fan. It's supposed to have something like a fishing rod, you know, or a lamppost. He's got an actual polearm. Does that bother you?
That he has an actual weapon?
Yeah.
The fact that he's playing Jax bothers me. I hate that champion. Playing against Jax is just ruins
Playing
days.
against him isn't great, but I like having him there because he does create extra action as King's going to turn up. Does have the championship Ashe skin as well. It's the first binding lands. You got to check that one out generally. It's like getting your eye in. Destiny does certainly have that one, although he was punished.
I feel like you really only have to hit one, too, because then you just get into the mind of your enemy,
Yeah.
and they just know now that you can hit it.
Although he did take half of his health bar in damage. Does have some biscuits there to keep himself safe, so see whether the Direwolves can push this one back, but it's a good shove coming out from Team 1.
But checking back in on the jungler, so it was red into blue. shernfire's now just completed it, and Fiora is very far forward. So shernfire looks like he's going to go for the easy gank and might walk into him in the ward. Oh, he stalled for the scuttle.
Yeah.
That would have been perfect.
Shern does like to pick up camps where he can, as Vert is going to know exactly what's going on as little Rift Scuttler does turn up right in front of him.
Yeah, and immediately the ping goes down. So like you said, he sees the Scuttler, so he knows that shernfire is on the top side of the map. That'll give information for Forlan to decide how he wants to continue to farm his jungle. Maybe he'll look for an invade on Krugs. The ward has already been placed in the bottom side of the try, so he will have clean vision walking down there if he wants to trade camp.
Yeah, and Shern actually avoiding a lot of the vision here. If he does walk over and try and get a deep gank onto Vert up towards the top side, he can certainly do that, and Vert knows that he is up there, so just going to try and check. It means that Chippys has a lot of space to work with.
Yeah, and unfortunate for Vert, he just has to give the respect for the Jarvan. Only has his ward into the tri-brush, and Rumble level 4, still very punishing.
Well, speaking of punishing, Phantiks actually going aggressive against Bruiser here, who's had to eat a lot of his biscuits already. By that I mean one.
I'm already glad to see Bruiser using auto attacks. We had some Oriannas earlier today that were just auto attack or just attacking with the ball, as opposed to also utilizing the passive and the auto attack, which is where so much of her early damage comes from in lane phase.
Well, King actually trying to get some damage back here, but he's losing
Check
out.
out the
Concussive
jungle.
Blows comes in and the Ignite's there. Okay, Forlan in trouble though, and Phantiks is looking for this one. Leap comes in. Oh my goodness, that was god tier. The counter-strike is enough. The flash is coming, but Destiny gets the flash bind, and first blood goes to Phantiks.
The fadeaway binding from Destiny, right place, right time, and it gives Phantiks the double buff. So Corki just got a lot scarier in this lane.
And that was absolutely fantastic as well, because it was like Destiny turns up and says, all right, kids, you're struggling to take him down. It's okay. I'll get the carry in here. And Phantiks now looking for more onto Bruiser, going aggressive. Does have the blue buff and the red buff, so isn't too worried at all.
Also has the flash advantage on the Orianna, so Bruiser has to be so respectful there as we take a look how that happened, because we were looking at the bottom lane, which turned into a very heavy 2v2, but Forlan just caught counter-jungling the Raptor camp.
Did have a level advantage here onto Shern, but just knew that Phantiks was in the area. It was so cute with this play to get the stun, but Destiny, that was fantastic.
Flashes over the wall and just hits him on the very edge.
Oh, come on, just say it.
No. I'm not here to indulge you, Atlas.
Dang it. Okay, well, Bruiser sidesteps the phosphorus bomb. I'm going to be upset about that for a while, okay, Frostgrin?
So the thing that Phantiks wants to do here is he wants to continue to punish the flashless Orianna, so he's trying to get the creep wave pulled over to his side of the map and just be that massive bully that double buff Corki gets to be by denying as much CS as possible, and then being like, if you want it,
Yeah,
come and get it.
1,000 gold now the lead here for the Direwolves. As Counter-Strike does come in. Oh, nice edge stun onto Phantiks. Forlan showing that he knows exactly how to play the ganks on this Jax, but with Bruiser with no mana and basically no health. It's a big struggle. Shockwave now in his back pocket, but probably can't even afford to use it at this stage as Phantiks control the wave. We'll be able to clean up these creeps quite nicely.
Having to pull the jungle just to trying to fix the wave there. It does mean that, like you said, shernfire gets to continue to play Farmville in his jungle. Kind of in the shernfire way.
Yeah, and as we look topside as well, Chippys has been able to continue to build control and pressure here in this lane because Vert, after that earlier stage, all of these creeps that are here as well, Chippys held that lane in the position for a very long time.
And this is exactly what the Direwolves fans wanted to see from their team in the first game. This is all of the keys of success for them. They are very much a solo lane-focused team, and then bouncing their jungler in between them. You know, Phantiks is ahead in CS in the mid lane. Already has Ashe now, so going to be trying to punish Orianna even harder. Chippys is having a hell of a time up into the top lane, although it might get sneaky because Braum's actually rotating up there.
Now, what is this funny business, RedBert?
He's been spotted.
It's a dry flag.
One might say a stroll.
Yeah, just checking the area. Brewster is going to be discovered as well. Forlan taking down this Rift Scuttler, so trying to get himself back up to the level of Shern. Does actually have even in experience, but you can see a few more camps have been taken here by Shernfire.
But it's
building
still
up towards his Cinderhawk.
It's still so important when Team 1 are trying to set for Brewster up in the mid lane. You know, yeah, the top lane play didn't necessarily work out, but they pulled Braum into the mid lane. Jax made sure that he took control of the Scuttle Crab. They've placed multiple wards and a lot of vision underneath Brewster. So while he's still waiting for that flash to come back up, he's been given a nice safety net that he can play towards the bottom side of his lane and try to pick up some of this table scrap of farm that Phantiks is letting slip through.
And speaking of picking up farm, Direwolves able to actually call it back. I mean, they are going to get rooted just here. King in a little bit of trouble. Good Unbreakable. Stops a lot of the damage onto RedBert. But you can see 54 to 63, and there's about 10 creeps there heading towards the turret. Despite the fact that the pressure is in favor of Team 1, they're just not able to actually make it mean anything just yet in this early game.
I mean, I just really like Xayah as a very lane-dominant champion. Her W is pretty ridiculous, as well as the passive feathers coming through to really deal with, despite a lot of the pushing power that Ashe has with volley.
The issue is that they're back to even as this lane does equalize on the bottom side. So, I mean, yes, being a lane bully is great, and yes, you're bringing King down to low health, but you have to be able to translate that into tangible leads.
And what that tangible lead would be is how Jax or Forlan would be able to utilize the pushing bot lane. You know, maybe he starts sneaking in, although the last time he did that, he died on the Raptor camp. But they do have good vision, you know, behind the dragon buff, and you can even see he's trying to do that just now. Just walk in, try to get control around the Raptor camp area. Hold on.
Goes Shern. There's the package. Special delivery for Brewster, who uses the heal, gets himself out of the way, but Valkyrie's there for Phantiks. He wants to get more. It's a merry journey as the equalizer sets up the red carpet, and Chippys heads in, grabs the kill, says thanks very much, and goes back to dominate Vert.
Doesn't get any easier than that. Combo timed with the equalizer, the package, as well as the cataclysm. Chippys drives by, all me.
Just amazing. Set up exactly the path that Brewster didn't want to take.
But what's interesting is now the equalizer's not available for the cross-back play. You know, normally a lot of teams, when they have the equalizer available, that's when they try to make the teleport play bottom, especially on a lane as far forward as this Xayah and Braum right now. But the Direwolves, they sit in their lanes. They like to abuse these individual matchups and advantages, whereas Team 1 are trying to be more about the team play. You know, they pressure forward in their bot lane. They then use that pressure to pivot, turn towards the dragon, and start setting themselves up for a mountain.
Well, they are certainly going to be able to head towards this. Phantiks doing a lot of damage to this mid lane, as we can see at about 10 minutes in. It's pretty much on the clock as far as farm. What we expect from him, but it means that Direwolves not able to grab what is a pretty important dragon. Set up Team 1 Esports for the later stage of the game. It's only about a 2,000 gold lead, as Direwolves do have to get themselves out of this.
I mean, the scary thing is that with taking the mountain, the Infernal is just as important next time. It will spawn around 16 minutes, and around that time window, Phantiks is going to be very happy. He's already sitting on the Phage as well as the Sheen, so he should have his Trinity Force completed.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be going full steam ahead for that Infernal fight.
Are you talking about Corki power spikes again?
The Corki power spike. It's like a bingo card.
Yeah. When does it happen? Whenever he completes an item.
Although, here we go.
Yeah, Arrow is going to fly forward. There's the knock-up from Shern as Destiny doesn't quite get the ultimate to work. And Glacial Fissure comes in with RedBert able to get out of the way. Flash timing stunning from Absolut, who is going to be safe. No mana, no summoner spells, but does have his life.
And so much used right there, and they're able to walk away. That said, here's Jax.
Yeah, Fallen gets the double stun as well, as at least the Black Shield was there from Destiny to try and get him out of there. Not going to get stunned.
And you also have the mid laners starting to rotate down, so even though they don't make their appearance, the threat from Bruiser, the appearance of Forlan mean that Team 1 get to at least hang on to this tower a little bit longer, including RedBert's life.
And the change from most other teams here is that Direwolves are probably okay with this, because what happens when there's a 3-man bottom lane for the Direwolves? It means that their solo lanes, that this time they're actually winning, are able to put that pressure on. You saw Phantiks all the way up to the turret. Now doing his favorite thing ever, which is take down popcorn chickens, and does so very, very easily to try and boost that CS number. And Chippys continues to pressure on the top side, so they're able to capitalize from these movements.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Atlas. It's just going to be the wash, rinse, and repeat for the Direwolves as soon as they have those cooldowns back up and available, especially now that Absolut has burned his flash, so just a very easy target. Now, with RedBert rotating towards the top side of the map, I was going to say there's a chance that maybe they rotate their bot lane out of that lane, but the teleport comes through to Fiora, and they're going to hold standard lanes longer.
Well, RedBert actually paying a little bit of attention here in the mid lane. He does like to have an excursion, but hasn't found any success doing so just yet. shernfire has some buffs to pick up. It's the red on the bottom side. And then we'll hand over to Phantiks, the blue buff that should be coming up momentarily.
Should be noted that the Ardent Sensor has been completed for Destiny. He also has the Stoneborn Pact Morgana combo there, so offering a lot for his team.
Getting himself in there. See whether Destiny is going to be the one making the plays, as he does have Soul Shackles back up once again now. Just ticking over. Good Winter Spite lands onto King, but doesn't seem to be too worried about the damage.
But the setup is coming for Direwolves. They already pinged bottom. They're starting to pressure the wave forward. The cooldowns are back up and available, and shernfire is starting to move that vision deeper and deeper. And Team 1 know this is coming.
You can see as well, King actually going for an interesting item build. Infinity Edge first. Ashe is going to come in.
So what's going to happen is Corki should shove this lane, clear it, and then he should also start to rotate. Now, Team 1 have done a good job pulling Jax into position, but the dive is coming. Teleport is available for Chippys, and it's not there for Vert.
King's actually onto the blue buff. They are going to look to take that one down as Grand Challenge comes in. Chippys gets his side to the wall, which is exactly what you want to do. He's not going to be able to proc all of these vitals. Riposte comes down, but no more mana left, and Chippys wants this. Gets the flash out of Vert all too easily, and Chippys looks in his element this game. Good Black Shield comes down onto King on the bottom side, and another Dark Binding. Soul Shackles to follow up, but doesn't get the extra damage in. Absolut getting some back, but King looks absolutely fine.
Yeah, and with all the action happening top, Direwolves don't even have to look for the dive. That's normally the play that you would see there. The wards go down, the rumble shows up, but Equalizer's not there, and I might have spoken too soon because shernfire's like, nope, we're going for it.
But the rest of Team 1 are going to get themselves out of the way. Phantiks is here as well, so a good idea to vacate the area for Team 1, but they get themselves back with this minion wave that's coming in. There's not enough creeps to get this one done. Or is there, as shernfire jumps himself forward? RedBert gets his way out, but Phantiks able to grab it with an empowered auto attack. Everyone is melting as Forlan goes down for the double for the Corki. It's exactly what we want. Chippys turns up. Everyone gets something here on the bottom side, and they'll get the first turret.
No Equalizer, no problem. The thing is with Jarvan and a massive creep wave, Direwolves have the potential that they could look to push through here, but there's a wealth of options available for them.
Well, at least Vert now gets some spare time up towards the top side to try and get rid of this outer turret, but I'm not sure whether any extra damage was done with how pushed Chippys was, and a package is going to be delivered to Bruiser. He's taking so much damage. The flash follow-up, all too easy, gets the circle around him, but Phantiks ain't going anywhere, and Bruiser, he's dead.
And now it's multiple solo kills happening in these individual lanes, and Phantiks is suddenly 4-0-2. It felt like it just quietly snuck up on everyone. I talked about that 16-minute Infernal Drake and what it meant that around that time that Corki would be prepared. He's not only prepared, he's also got a BF sword.
Just casually, the casual BF sword. Going for the second item, Infinity Edge. Of course, what was the old build for Corki, the most expensive one ever. And Phantiks, who's just been eating these little raptors over and over again. That's what happens when you're 167 CS.
Hold on. I feel like I've seen this play before.
Oh, goodness me. The arrow does land. Absolute. He's not going to be able to Featherstorm because he didn't even have it. Shernfire is going to be able to pick this one up, just blocking the Winter's Bite potential. RedBert, he's walking, but he's not going to get anywhere. There's so many wards from the Direwolves as well. They knew that he had no support.
But there is a counterplay available, and it's up in the top lane. But can Chippys 2v1?
Well, he's trying to get out of the way, but there's another Vital here for Vert. He does get it. And Chippy's not going to be able to do anything. Not sure whether that equalizes even worth it is. Oh my goodness, the slow is enough. But Lunge, not a long cooldown on that one, and Vert is able to lock that one down. First kill here for Team 1.
So Forland helps get them something back into this game, but they're still losing so much in terms of objectives. It will be the Infernal that falls, and possibly their mid laner as Brucer. He's not having a good time.
No, he can't go anywhere near Phantiks right now, which he just learnt. Phantiks now pushing up towards this inner turret, and he's going to try and beat this clock. Okay, there's the shockwave. Phantiks says, I don't really care about that one. Doesn't even have something like a null magic mantle. It's just the huge lead that he has helping him out here.
Now Brucer just trying to buy time there for Forland to come down, make sure that they don't lose any chip damage on their inner mid towers. We take another look at this bot play. And this is the thing, like you said, when Chippys, when Phantiks are winning their natural lanes, it allows shernfire to give the attention to the bottom lane. Again, his jungle proximity is much higher for these two. He likes to camp the lane. King likes to play more of these utility-style AD carries. So this is just true comfort for the Direwolves.
And that was actually just everything going perfectly as well. All the skill shots land. This, not so good for Direwolves fans. Team 1 finally getting something on the board, and 4-1 is the scoreline between Brazil and Oceania. That's in favor of OCE for the moment, but Team 1 really want to try and get one back, build their way towards this, and get towards the best of fives after this group stage.
Now that said, it does look pretty dark for them right now. 32 to 25k. Rift Herald also falling for Direwolves as well as the top tower, but there's still that tiny light at the back of the tunnel, Atlas, and the fact that it's Fiora that's getting the kill, that it's still the Jax, that it's still the Xayah. There are still these late game scaling options for Team 1, but they need to, pump the brakes on the tempo of this game, slow everything down, and start getting their ducks in a row.
Going to be difficult, 7,000 gold being the lead here for the Direwolves. And it's not even 20 minutes into the game yet. Phantiks has his 200 CS already. I've missed casting this guy because I like farm a lot, and Phantiks never disappoints.
So does
he. He does. He does. We're like-minded like that.
So the big play now for Direwolves is the fact that the Baron will be spawning in 140. So they've already moved Phantiks up into the top side. His teleport will be available soon. Chippys has his. He should move to the bottom. Now, the play that Team 1 have on this, because Direwolves are just going to push mid, push top, and then look for a pick in this jungle, which is what Destiny's setting up to do now.
Brucer is going to be discovered, and the arrow is going to land. A flash from Destiny gets the Soul Shackles in. It's at least a decent ultimate, but Destiny was healthy enough. Just good setup there from the Direwolves, and they wasted no time throwing out that arrow.
Yeah, and it was just an echo of the possible damage and 5v5 that Team 1 may have if that shockwave is followed up on. But otherwise, Direwolves just know exactly what they want to do. Like I said, push the two outer waves and then just look for Team 1 cheating between mid and top and find that pick. Now, the other option that they have is little Chippys by himself down here. Yes, the Rumble is still very scary.
Not that little, yeah.
But we've seen in the 2v1 that they can take him down.
Well, Bert's going to try and set himself up. He has the Ravenous Hydra, so his dueling potential is certainly there. But with the Rift Herald heading towards this inner turret, oh goodness, it might actually get some damage down onto this inhibitor as well, as Phantiks is going to turn up. They're 4 men strong, doing the split push rumble thing.
But they should just rotate top. It's only Absolut up there by himself.
And they get the short track as well, given all of this vision that they have available to themselves. I know you love talking about it, but being able to flood that with wards means that they can move back and forward between these two lanes so easily.
Which then puts responsibility on Vert, because that's exactly what Direwolves want to do. And then they'll just look for the teleport play. Chippys is level 12, which means he has 2 points in the ultimate right now. So much responsibility on this Fiora to keep Rumble locked like this.
Well, he's going to be able to heal himself up, but Destiny makes his way in. Phantiks has the package. He's going to turn up. That's the double equalizer that we were looking for, and Chippys gets revenge by taking him down. A little bit unfair in a 3v1.
And unfortunately, they lost track of the rest of the Direwolves. You know, maybe some miscommunication cross-map that, hey, they could all be just rushing down bottom to kill you, and suddenly that big pressure point that Team 1 had to play around, maybe a bit of a safety net to delay the Baron, is denied.
Yeah. And it's a little bit unfortunate because I do really like what Vert was trying to do there, because you do need to try and make plays. You definitely do not want to get locked down by the pick potential of the Direwolves, but thankfully Bruiser does make his way out. Man protect enough to keep him alive.
But Team 1 are zoned off of the mid lane, and the wave is crashing in. So the red buff goes to Phantiks, and Direwolves just turn tail and say, we didn't want you anyway. We wanted this mid lane tower.
Yep. King actually going to focus on these creeps a little bit, but Phantiks, he's got his power spike number 2, Frosco, and that is going to be the Infinity Edge locked in. That tower did not last very long at all. Really good riposte, but just doesn't matter. They've got much more CC to come in. The Shockwave left a lot to be desired there from Bruiser. Didn't find the targets, and they're just bleeding objectives left, right, and center. 11,000 gold to lead for the Direwolves. And the final game of the day, looking dominant here for the OCE representatives.
And it's about time, because Oceania have had a really rough go internationally, and this is the performance they've wanted. So like you said, the Riposte does find one form of CC, but then it just opens up the opportunity for Ashe to pop Fiora right in the teeth with the ultimate.
And I feel like if Forlan had have just flashed forward instead, that could have been the massive 4-man Shockwave, but instead, realizing that they're a little bit too far behind, that would have spelt the end of the game.
Team 1, though, possibly looking for something pretty bold here. And if I had to assign this team a word, bold would be the one. They just
the Gambit play, I think we can call it now.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
But they went for back-to-back surprise Barons against WE, and it worked the first time.
They were setting up a cute trap there, trying to catch out Direwolves heading to the Baron.
Shernfire, absolutely no fear at all, as another binding lands. Has Destiny missed one yet? Looking ridiculous as Phantiks, about 3 auto attacks will do it. He's still burning down. There it is. Right at the very end of the rocket, as Frostcrew would say.
The ultimate, the heal, and the flash. An Absolut. That's now a 4v5 for this Baron. They've got the control wards. Team 1 know it's going down. They do have their smite, but it might be too little too late. One last chance.
Yeah, and a level in advantage there for Shernfire, as well, as they probably want to deny him being able to leap into this pit, because you don't want to try and opt in for any sort of 50-50. There's a Shockwave, but it is locked down by Shernfire, and they grab the kill. Phantiks, he's in amongst it. We've got the arrow landing as well, and Phantiks knows the target that he wants to pick up. He's 7-0-4. The equalizer's there, and RedBert has to be so careful. I don't think a turret is going to bother Phantiks at all, as, my God, that was just one empowered auto attack. And Chippys representing the Direwolves underneath the turret, making sure that the Braum goes down.
They've got the wave, they've got the Baron, and now they're going to start sieging up on another inhib tower.
Okay, Absolut is going to respawn, but does not want to go up against Chippys, and this is the dominance that we know the Direwolves can bring when they get that early start. 15,000 gold is the lead, but Vert now looking to try and answer Chippys. If they can stall, certainly can be a game that they can win, because that split push win condition with 6 items on everyone is certainly available. The Direwolves look like they're closing this one out strong.
And they have the wave clear in terms of Team 1. You know, they've got an Orianna, they have a Xayah, Jax, Fiora. They can all farm very effectively. So there are the options. It just means that Direwolves have so much more onus to clean this out. We'll take another look at that sick Dark Binding, and you're correct. I don't think I've seen him miss one.
Yeah.
And then that damage.
That damage is ridiculous. Also the aim for Phantiks as well, showing his comfort on the Corki.
Now, Jax did get into the pit, but unfortunately wasn't able to make the steal stick. And I like the thought from Team 1. Again, you can see Fiora on the bottom of your screen. So their idea was, our only option here is to look for the steal. We can't win the 5v5.
Oh, whoopsies. Okay, Bruiser caught napping there just a little bit, but it all happened very, very quickly. The arrows are landing, the bindings are landing, the support Ashe, the binary score lines here on the bottom side. Direwolves, we know exactly where they put their power. Chippys 3-1-4. We've got 8-0-4 Phantiks. And they're looking for Nexus turrets. They'll get the first one. The Brazil versus OCE rivalry continues to be a good one for OCE. As the equalizer comes in, they're looking for the celebratory kills, and they'll get them. This damage is massive. The Nexus, not long for the world, and Direwolves put one on. It's 1-1 now for the Oceanians, and 0-2, unfortunately, for Brazil, but dominance and what we expected from the Direwolves, who can get ahead early.
And raise your koalas, because Oceania is officially on the board at Worlds.
We made it.
We picked up the victory, and we're now 5-1, I believe, over Brazil.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. So things working out for OCE, but they still need to back that one up tomorrow as well. And 2 blue side wins here for Direwolves at the same time. We are going to be switching sides, of course, when we get into our next matches. So see whether that is going to change things for the better or for the worse for either of these teams.
That said, the importance of this victory cannot be understated. They said
Oh,
it on the
yes.
analyst desk all day, you know, with these groups that have appeared very top-heavy, you know, both Cloud9, both Team WE taking the big 2-0 victories. It was going to be the emerging regions clash that would really start to define who is going to take that second seed. And taking the second seed, you still get a shot at the elimination round in a best-of-5.
Yeah. It's very, very dangerous now for Team 1, so they're going to have to really make sure that they turn things and try and pick up the victory against the Direwolves next time around, or perhaps even Cloud9 if they can. But that looks like such a tough ask. As far as this group, feels a little bit cut and dry at the very top because Cloud9 looks so good, but there still were good things there for Team 1 as well towards the end.
And that's the thing. I don't want to take too much away from, you know, these losses for Team 1.
Yeah.
You know, watching their VODs, they are kind of a very polarizing, heavily swinging team. Sometimes they just get blown out. Sometimes they just blow you out. They say it in their motto, you know, today warriors, tomorrow heroes, but maybe tomorrow they'll be the heroes.
Well, exactly right. They said it themselves, tomorrow is going to be a better day. But to break down that game and close out the day, let's send it over to the analyst.
Thank you, Atlas. Maybe tomorrow indeed, FLICKR. And today was incredibly rough coming in for Team 1. Mark, Z, you had some strong opinions about this draft phase, specifically that Jax in the jungle.
Yeah, it's been, a long night. It's the last game of the day. I'll just be blunt. I think that Jax pick was pretty dumb. I understand what happened here. They took it early on. The Rumble gets taken into it. You want to flex it to the jungle, which I guess is fine. But the question is, why would you build it the way you chose to build it, where they take Cinderhulk on it, they start trying to finish a Righteous Glory, and at that point, it's like, yeah, you saved it from getting counterpicked top, but you made it useless, and you made your jungler useless. And I think that's where I have a big problem with their decision on what to do.
Yeah, you thought the pick was dumb. I thought the play was also a little bit of that category where he went into the jungle for the Raptors, decided to dodge towards the left side instead of towards his mid laner. I understand the Corki there as well, but now you're just in too deep, my friend. At this point, he can just get collapsed on. The Corki's going to be able to get in there a bit as well. He's going to try to give him, the loop-de-loop, but Morgana shows up.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you're probably going to lose your flash no matter what. Just leap strike to the Corki, flash to your Orianna. Tries to do that way later, but like you said, Morgana, great follow-up, great flash binding there by Destiny. Gets that set up to get the kill over the Corki.
Cool.
And this is such a disaster in the mid lane because you give a kill over, you waste your Orianna summoners because she blew a heal trying to keep you up, and then you give double buffs over to a winning matchup, and he continues to smash that lane. It was one of those plays where it's like, yeah, it's a single kill, but in the circumstance of the game, it's a disaster.
Yeah, we talk about how crucial jungle mid is in terms of synergy, but when both those champions are behind, you get to do anything you want in the enemy jungle.
And Direwolves showed us that jungle mid synergy. Mid came down, support came up, the whole team collapsed the second they saw that opportunity. So I think we have to praise Direwolves for that level of play because they found that window. They knew they could punish this pick. And I'd be honest, I think they were a little surprised that Jax stayed around that long, but at the end of the day, Destiny, well-deserved from him, flashing over the wall, no hesitation there to throw out that binding. I mean, one sidestep and that whole play could have been thrown away.
Right, now overall, I think Direwolves had themselves a pretty nice comp here. They got a bunch of winning matchups. They forced one out of what was probably their initial game plan, and then they're left with something that still works very well together. They have magic damage, they have physical damage, they have everything that they need to actually, snowball through this game off that kind of lead that they built.
Yeah, and of course, Direwolves just continue to build that lead, continue to play incredibly aggressive as we look at our replay on the bottom side. Direwolves diving bot lane, no hesitation here. They know they have the advantage, and they're eager to grow that lead.
Yeah, this was right after they had actually chunked out the bottom lane and showed their jungler, Shernfire, and then the Jax came down to kind of stop this, but they 100% knew this was coming, and I absolutely love that everybody's down here. Saw 5 members of them. They are all in attendance here, and they're able to clean up very quickly.
Yeah, everyone wanted to get a good look at that new Championship Ashe skin with the chroma on.
Chroma.
Yeah, I wanted to check it out. They're like, hey, that looks pretty good.
Luckily for us, King puts on a good performance on it too. He doesn't just die repeatedly with the skin. So it looks good for him overall, and of course, over the course of this game, you can just see Direwolves looking just as dominant against Team 1 as Cloud9 look against Direwolves.
Yeah, 1.3k damage. I'm sorry, like that's 1 or 2 engages. You should be able to get that much damage off of somebody as Jax. And he's just completely shut out of the game. Moby Boots against 3 ranged champions, you're never going to close the distance there. And he even built just tanky anyway, like to just reinforce your point, Mark.
The draft obviously did not set them up for success from the start, but now we have to look because right now they're 0-2. We have Direwolves right now locked in that second seed. We've already talked about that for Group A. Looking at Group B, Team 1, what are the options to come back? Because they've been outclassed mechanically, and now I feel like they've been outclassed in pick ban as well. It's a difficult road.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. I mean, C9, based off what we saw out of them in their 2 games, looked like the clear favorite in this group, very likely to escape at the 1 seed. And I think 1 might have a chance to pick up a win against Direwolves with a totally different comp, because this one was one that was dismantled in the draft, and then some questionable plays really led to a huge snowball. And maybe they can bounce back tomorrow with a better game plan. And they can avoid taking a Jax early, because that is risky unless you're planning to put it jungle. But once again, you got to find a build that works.
Yeah, I don't blame them for kind of going all over the place with their picks and trying to figure something out, because Team 1, this is kind of how they actually won in Brazil. Brazilian teams are saying, like, this team just picks whatever the hell they want, and then they win with it. We don't know how they do it, but it just happens. And there wasn't a lot of respect for them, but now they're getting a little bit exposed here on the international stage.
Maybe temper some of those wild picks, bring out something a little bit more standard. But of course, as the play in group stage continues throughout the weekend, remember to tweet at LO Esports with your favorite plays using the hashtag World's Big Plays. Today, Taylor Damaski called out WE's Baron Steal versus Gambit, saying that Baron Steal by Condi sealed the deal. Double Inferno plus Baron and good wave clear could have been scary, but the son of Baron strikes.
The Baron just spawned yet again, and what do Gambit want to do? They want to kill Baron. They're like, oh, he's got all his fancy new clothes on. That must mean that he's worth a little bit more, and the wall, it's going to be in there. This is a 50-50 Baron, though, stolen from Condi. Mystery gifting feels better, but Gambit certainly doesn't.
And the son of Baron strikes again. Condi's been a little bit lax in the LPL and his Baron steals, but he holds true there.
Yes, he was pretty mad about that first Baron that Gambit was able to sneak away from. He's like, you're not getting the second.
I just love Gambit. They once again the desperation Baron, and this is the thing is it's not like this is the play that won WE the game. This is the Gambit's slowly fading hope, right? Because they're already behind in gold. That was the last-ditch effort. And Connie's like, no chance, no hope. We're taking this win.
Yeah, it was a little close, because right before that, Gambit had gotten like a triple kill in the top lane. They're trying to snowball that momentum. If they pick up a Baron, maybe something can happen, but not quite in the cards.
Yeah, my favorite part of that play is when the Kog'Maw Mystic comes over the back of the pit with the blast cone that was still up, and then it's just like, whoa, what's this Kog'Maw doing? He's absolutely crazy, but the fight is already trickling away, and they're starting to get an advantage. Because you could steal that Baron and still just get completely slaughtered afterwards, but WE were able to roll them over because they were able to get Mystic in.
Yeah, big team fighting improvements from them over the course of the day. Good to see that overall. And of course, as we wrap up day 1, let's pull up the standings for Groups A and Group B. Talked a little bit about Group B already in this segment, but looking at Group B once again, feels like we have clear leaders in both Groups A and Group B.
Yeah, but Lion is the one that stands out to me here, because them as that number 2 seed actually had good games against both Gambit and Team WE, and they seem a little bit on that macro page where they just need to kind of get that cleaned up. Their team fighting is good, though, and they're solo laners as well as their AD carry.
And of course, over in Group B, Cloud9 still dominant. Team 1 Esports still hoping to pick up that first win tomorrow. We're going to see if they can do just that in our first game of the day, as we look forward to Team 1 Esports facing off against Cloud9. Now, of course, the schedule going to be interesting, just going to continue to be more and more exciting. Our second match will be Lion Gaming versus Team WE, that rematch, and you already heard it from members of Lion. Hey, they want one game off WE. They're eager to get it.
Yeah, I think that they were so close in the first series. They kind of put themselves on the map right now as potentially the scariest second seed that we've seen so far. Other teams from Group C and D are watching today. They're going to have a bit of an eye on Lion Gaming.
Going to be the case. Well, Groups A and B, of course, will complete their second round robin. They're going to play any tiebreakers necessary at the end of the day as well. So there is the potential that we could see, if teams can come back, if, let's say, Gambit can get that 1-1, maybe find a game somewhere else, that we could have some very close contention for that second seed and first seed.
Yeah, definitely. I think Gambit had some big struggles today. Diamond was hot or cold. Edward was not able to get on the map like we were quite hoping to see based off what he was doing in his own region. So there's potential that will all start clicking a little bit better tomorrow for Gambit. Maybe they can grab a game.
Yeah, so you can see it now for myself, the casters, and the entire live broadcast crew. Thank you for watching. We'll see you more tomorrow for Worlds 2017 as we continue on day 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Worlds 2017.
This is going to be a lot about playing your style. You can't let the other team really dictate it. You can't drop a single game.
Now he finds himself rooted up, locked down. And first blood of Worlds 2017 goes to Lion Gaming. Xayah tries to kite himself backwards. White Lotus potentially going to be caught out here. The shutdown from Mystic. WE will claim the first victory of Worlds 2017. Hero's entrance will keep him safe from any sort of retaliatory damage. Absolut now going to be taken down by Sneaky.
And Cloud9, they are not slowing down. C9, they want to get this game over with. They want to walk away with the convincing win. And with an easy pick like that, they're well on their way to doing it.
Just so we're fully correct, he was not even past that rock thing. Kira knocks him out of his own ultimate. Very nicely done. There comes your Nature's grasp. The shield from Kira not going to be enough. Giral is pushing towards that base.
Oh!
Nice shot! Lion, they look great here in game number 3. That's how you win a game of League of Legends.
Here comes Contracts.
Yep, there it is. The heroic entrance going to come down as well. And despite the fact that that spear didn't land, Contracts is still going to hop over that wall and steal away the kill. Contracts going down very, very low as there's the heroic entrance. And impact, massive cataclysm damage. Shern's going to die as well. And C9 look so dominant in this group. Here we are into Champion Select.
We stepped in and then we stepped
We were
back.
sort of in Champion Select. I got excited. I walked forward. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to do this, but no, it's not happening just yet. Here we are. Damn, I got baited so hard. Oh God, Kira, the auto attack is there. He's gonna need another one as Sheer jumps forward. Good flashback as First Blood comes in for Kira. Massive knockback from Condi, who just destroys Gambit.
Rebranded, re-rostered, and remembered, Team WE take down Gambit Esports.
Phantiks able to grab it with an empowered auto attack. Everyone is melting. And the final game of the day. Direwolves put one on.